Hey everyone, Alex and Rocky here from Zephyr Equity Group. And today we have a really awesome episode for you that talks about the market trends. When is it good to buy and sell? The different things you have to know. Should you do it on your own and should you not? We'll talk about the cycle of real estate and what you could do today to take advantage of everything that's out there and all the information that's out there. All right, Rocky, let's get started.
Not just going to be talking about the latest market trends and all that. This is actually going to be a tips video, not just with the technicalities of real estate investment, but rather we all know that you guys want to invest and all that, but how do you successfully invest
Right.
in real estate, right?
Right.
So just like what Alex said, definitely market trends are important, right? But when do we know the best time to sell or to buy properties?
Yeah. So let's start with that, right? When's the best time to sell or buy? If you're looking at a buyer wants to buy at a buyer's market, a seller wants to sell in a seller's market, right? So what makes a buyer's market versus a seller's market? Well, I'll tell you when it's a seller's market, it's a seller's market when there's multiple people bidding on the property that you are trying to sell, right? People are coming with offers that's like all over the place. Now, right now, it's August of 2022. Towards the beginning of this year, right? When with multifamily, because interest rates last year and this year has been so low, well, prices that were comped when they look at everything that was sold around them, complementary. If a unit was being sold for $5 million, people would come in because money was so cheap and they could make it make sense. They were offering 5.5, 6, sometimes even $7 million, right? Homes in
Wow.
the Bay Area. There was a home in the Bay Area in California that was offered $1 million above asking price. Okay. Yeah, it happened.
Wow.
Now, the reason for that was because interest rate was low. Whenever interest rate is low, people are looking at how much it affects their monthly expense and they realize they can afford a lot more. So they get more house for the money, right? That they're spending because interest rate hugely affects it. Now, that's usually the best time to sell. But a lot of sellers also can become greedy, right? They become greedy and say, oh, you know what? I'll wait and I'll sell it for higher and higher and higher. People got caught when they try to wait to sell because they got a little bit too greedy and now interest rate starts going up and they can't sell it for as high. So what happens is interest rates start going up and now they can't sell it as much and now people are regretting it. It's like, oh no, I wish I would have sold. Here's the thing. People who are selling needs to stick to their business plan. If they're telling their investors that we're going to sell in 5 years or 7 years, if the time is right and the numbers make sense, that's the time to sell, right? And it all comes down to the investors as well. But if it's you, even if you weren't working with investors, if you were working with a few partners, you also have to look at what your business plan was going in. So that here's your initial business plan. Okay, if a $5 million property, we're able to operate it well, right? And get it to 7 million, you make 2 million, split it among how many ever people's in the deal. That's wonderful. But sometimes we get too greedy and our emotions get in the way and we stop following the numbers. And that's how we get caught, right? Now,
Right.
as a buyer, if you're doing this for investment properties and investment purposes, we just got to do really good in underwriting. Anytime is a good time to buy, and any time could be a good time to sell as long as the numbers make sense. So it's all a numbers game. As interest rates go up, people have to start lowering their prices because whoever buys it at a high interest rate for a high price, they realize they can't make the payments to the mortgage with the current rents anymore. So that's where underwriting is so huge. As we start seeing the numbers and interest starts going up, sellers have to drop their price because the banks wouldn't even give out a loan for that price for that property based on its underwriting numbers, right? So that's how you would choose when to sell, when to buy. It's having that knowledge to know what the numbers look like is huge.
So it's really a numbers game. And of course, obviously, um, these are things that you really have to study, right? And
Oh yeah.
learn really and put to heart, if you may say. But, how do you get educated about, market trends and real estate investing in general?
Well, that's where being part of masterminds and study groups, right? I'm part of the MIH mastermind, the Jake and Gino educational platform as well. There's a lot of people, a lot of students, a lot of mentors that you're able to have access to on a regular basis. And there's classes that you're taking on a regular basis as well to keep yourself updated on the trends, on what's happening. See, the last thing you want to do is completely be in the woods and not knowing exactly what's going on, right?
Yeah.
And you don't pay
Yeah.
attention to it for the next 6 months and you're buying from the numbers that you put together 6 months ago. That's how you get caught. So being in the know, reading, watching videos videos of people that you can actually trust, right? That's where it's going to be huge.
That's very important. And
Mhm.
what would you say would be the first thing that they need to learn as an investor?
I say the first thing you need to learn as an
As in the
investor,
very first
the
thing, yeah.
very first thing is you have to know why you're doing this. See, because the know-how and the why is so huge, right? When you're doing something like this. So the first thing is knowing the why, because your why is also going to dictate everything that you're going to be doing in the long run, right? So
I agree.
you look at, okay, what are you doing this to cover certain expenses, right? Are you doing this for generational wealth? Everyone wants to do it for generational wealth. What does that mean?
Yeah.
Right? Some
Yeah.
people don't want to do that. Some people are like, you know what? When you keep it for the kids sell it at a crazy price because they don't even know what to do with it. They don't even want it, right? So what kind of generation wealth are you building for them when the moment it's handed to them, they just sell everything and all your hard work just went to waste, right? So why are you
Right.
actually doing this? I think that's the first thing. And then once you know why you're doing this, you need to get some education, talk to people who've done something like this before, right? And then talk to them about, hey, what's the best way I can do this? And then start learning, right? But figuring out the why. Why are you wanting to do this? Are you doing this to replace your income? Are you doing it for the freedom? Most people are doing it for the freedom, right? And
Mhm.
but the why is going to be huge. The ultimate why. Like ask deep down inside why. Because most people will tell you the surface level thing that they'll say is, "Oh, I want to make more money." Okay, but why? What do you mean? Why I want to make more money? Why do you want to? What does money buy you? You see, what's it going to do for you? Right? Are you just going to let it sit in the account? What are you going to do with it? And that why, as you go back to it, it's going to drive why you do what you do.
Of course. All right. And what would you suggest? Is it really better to start real estate investing on your own, or is it better to hire someone to do it for you?
Well, so part of what we do is we work with investors where investors invest their money with us and they get a return, right? That's a limited partnership. Now, limited partnerships are a lot easier because you get to own a percentage of the real estate, but all you really have to do is write a check, okay, and start getting returns. Now you step in, the next level is the joint venture. A joint venture is where you form a partnership with people and you got to make sure you could trust them now, right?
Mm-hmm.
You got to make sure you can trust them. It's a marriage. It's a marriage, a binding marriage for about 5 to 10 years. So you got to like these people. If you can't see yourself working with these people and you don't have good people to work with, forget it. A good deal is not worth headaches and stress, because stress is the number one reason why diseases occur. And just for money to stress yourself out so much that you hate what you're doing every time. Every time you have a meeting, you just hate it and you dread it. That's not a good enough reason to do it, right? And then the next step is a GP, a general partner. Instead of a limited partner, you're the ones operating now one of the properties, right? You can be a part of that as well. So there's multiple levels of doing it.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Well, thank you very much, Alex, for answering these questions and giving your tips on how to successfully invest in real estate. And I think we're gonna need to do a part two of this video, because I'm sure that there are a lot more things that our viewers would like to know. So
Absolutely,
watch out
100%.
for the part two, and we'll see you on the next one.
All right, Rocky. We'll see you then. Bye now.
All right. Thank you. Bye bye.